Welcome to CandleLight Audiobook. The Secret Misses. Chapter 481. Helen did not notice anything odd about Emma, so she continued to complain. I knew that she must have used some dirty tricks. I almost thought that I really lost to her. What should I do now, Emma? I'm too embarrassed to go back. Emma gave it some thought and said, Noble has already announced the results and it's impossible to change that now, but we can minimize the spread of the news. This audition happened in a foreign country, so not many people know about it. If we pull some strings, they might not tell the whole world. And it wasn't just you who are embarrassed. In fact, all of them are far more experienced than Luna, and yet they still lost to her. Helen had a moment of realization. You're right. So just relax, you're on the same side as them. Coincidentally, History has just opened a headquarters in Los Angeles. We'll invite all of them over tomorrow and buy them some dresses there. After some bonding and hints, they'd surely understand. The manager spoke up as well. That's a good idea. History is quite popular among the entertainment circle recently, and many celebrities will be proud to own a dress designed by the lead designer David. Helen held Emma's arms intimately and flattered. Of course, Emma, you have great taste and you picked that designer to set up a brand for him and make him popular. I was just lucky, Emma said humbly. On the third day since Luna came to Los Angeles. Noble's advertisement shoot ended without a hitch and she was going home tomorrow. Her endorsement fees amounted to $3 million, 10 times more than what she had received the last time. It felt awesome to get rich overnight. Finally, she could buy whatever she wanted. A not lesser known brand that Luna liked, Neon, had been bought over recently and changed their name to History. It seemed that its popularity was rising and it had gotten a lot of attention in the entertainment field, with many celebrities and socialites loving it. She felt a little sad that suddenly everyone knew about the treasure that used to be only known by a few, but of course, she felt happy for the brand itself. As the brand had progressed, more classic designs were made. She heard that History had opened a shop in Los Angeles and had a lot of pieces that were not available back home, so she wanted to take a look. Luna felt refreshed stepping into the store. There were a lot of designs that were not available back home and all of them piqued her interest. What was regrettable was that the prices were almost tenfold to how much it had cost before. Miss, see anything that you like? Try them on. You can only see how it really looks when you try it on yourself, the salesperson told Luna. I'll look around for a while. All of them look gorgeous. The salesperson smiled. Miss, are you from China? Yes. I think that although our brand is popular in Western countries, only a Chinese can bring out the real potential of the designs. After all, it was made by a Chinese designer. You look really pretty and you have a unique aura. Most of our garments would suit you very well. I've always been a fan of this brand even before it was named History. Chapter 482. Luna tried on 10 different outfits and loved every one of them. In the end, she generously bought all of them. As expected, the best solution when faced with a dilemma with too many choices was to be rich. By being decisive and buying them all, then one need not be burdened by having to just choose one. There was a retro-themed dress with Chinese elements that Luna loved it the most. She had the salesperson pack up her clothes and she immediately wore that outfit. The salesperson was glad that she got herself a big deal, so with a big smile she said, "Thank you for your patronage, please come again." Luna held on to all her bags and was stepping out when she saw a big group of celebrities entering the shop with Helen as the lead. The woman in a long mint green dress beside Helen was Emma. She did not see Emma at the Noble audition the other day, so why was she here? Suddenly, every salesperson in the shop and the manager went up to them, bowing to Emma. "Welcome back, mistress." Luna frowned a little. Mistress? Because Luna was on her way out, all of them saw her at the entrance. Helen saw Luna holding all the bags and said, "I didn't expect that you'd like History too." Emma went up to Luna. "Luna, I didn't know that you'll be here. You could have let me know beforehand so that I could have them give you a discount." Luna's brows frowned even more. Was it Emma who bought over Neon? As far as she knew, Emma usually liked European styles and had always thought that brands with Chinese element like Neon were too tacky, so why would she suddenly invest in neon? Luna just mumbled something and left the shop. Helen sneered with despise. Even if she wore a dragon robe, it can't cover up her countryside stink. Why do you say so? One of the artistes asked. Helen raised her brows. Didn't you guys know that just like Feng Xiaowen, she came from a fairly remote village where people reared cows, goats, and poultry? All the artistes were surprised. I can't believe this. Has Director Cook gone crazy? Having someone like her to endorse the renowned noble famous for its elegance? If consumers knew that the ambassador was a countryside girl, who'd still buy their products? Hee, I don't think Cook is crazy. He was just totally charmed by her. Emma tried to settle them down. Okay, we're here to shop, let's stop talking about business. Right, Emma, is it really true that we can get the designer to design a dress for each and every one of us? An artiste asked with excitement. Helen answered happily, of course, Emma owns history, so it's no big deal. Most people there were fairly influential, and no matter how popular history was, it was nothing more than a wardrobe addition. Emma opened up again. I'm really glad that all of you pretty ladies here are willing to wear dresses from history. It's our honor, and it'll surely save me tons of advertising fees. The artistes were in a much better mood now, and one of the popular ones replied, You're too generous, Emma. It's true that you've got a genuinely fantastic brand. Chapter 483. Luna walked around after leaving history, intending to buy some souvenirs. She was tired halfway through, so she bought herself some snacks and sat down on one of the long chairs. Suddenly, she felt someone looking at her. Luna looked up and saw an untidy beggar staring at her. It felt really odd to be eating while being stared at, so she then took out a sandwich from the paper bag and gave it to the beggar. The beggar looked at her, took the sandwich and gobbled it down quickly. Luna sensed the gaze again, so she looked up and still saw the beggar there. Luna then realized that he was not staring at her food, but it was more like a judgmental stare assessing her. Luna was confused. What was she supposed to do? She had even given him something to eat, so what was he trying to do? Luna stopped eating and walked over to him. Hey, why do you keep staring at me? I'm not staring at you. Luna was surprised that he replied in Chinese. She did not expect him to be a Chinese. Luna responded in Chinese as well. You've been staring at me since just now. Even at this moment. The beggar scanned her, then replied, I'm looking at your outfit. Luna looked at her dress and asked, What about my outfit? The beggar did not even hesitate. It's ugly. Luna was speechless. Even people who had zero fashion sense would never consider this dress as ugly. Why don't you tell me which part of this dress is ugly? Luna was not expecting anything constructive, but his reply was out of her expectations. The embroidery on your dress is a flowerbird themed, which comes from the drawing called Rest by Kane. It's a good drawing, but the background color is too dark. It'd be better if turquoise blue was used. They shouldn't have used silk as well. A softer fabric would have worked better. The worst part is the design around the waist. It's a misconception that the tighter the waist area, the more can one flaunt their curves. Actually, if it's a little bit looser, it would have made an enormous difference. Luna saw that the beggar commented excitedly about her outfit. She looked at her outfit again, and armed with the knowledge from his comments, she thought that his words made sense. She listened patiently and prompted, Tell me more. The beggar continued with a cold tone, Most importantly, this outfit you're wearing is a half-made draft. They are deceiving the consumers by putting this on for sale. Luna looked at the beggar again. How do you know all these? The beggar had really messy hair that covered most of his face, but from his voice, Luna was determined that he should be around 20-odd years of age. Luna felt something was off. This man was young and did not seem to be disabled either, so how did he end up as a beggar on the streets of this foreign country? Chapter 484. When he heard Luna's question, the beggar seemed to hold back. All of a sudden, he became quiet and lay on the ground, avoiding her glance. Luna rubbed her chin and left. The beggar opened his eyes when he heard Luna's footsteps leaving, then he stared at the bags of clothes with the history logo that she left behind. After a while, He heard some footsteps approaching and he hung his head with his eyes closed before the footsteps stopped right in front of him. He rattled his bowl with some scarce change in it, but he heard a loud thump right beside him. He opened his eyes again and saw a can of beer right in front of him. The beggar sat up and quickly took the beer, almost tasting the exhilarating coolness trickling down his parched throat. He looked up and saw the girl earlier in front of him. She placed a dozen cans of beer right beside him. "What is this?" the beggar asked doubtfully. "These are on me. I have some booze for you and in exchange, you have some stories to tell," Luna announced brightly, putting some newspapers on the floor to sit on. The beggar opened the can of beer and gulped it down thirstily while denying, "I don't have any stories to tell." Luna smiled. She was patient and she believed that the booze would loosen his tongue. Luna was not the nosy type, but once she found something that interested her, she had to know everything about it. Eventually, the alcohol did its job and he started talking after 3 cans of beer. Luna waved the beer in front of his face and asked, "I'm going to ask you again. How do you know so much about this outfit? And how did you even know that it's an incomplete design?" Of course, I'd know. It's my child." The beggar spoke up. "Huh? Your child? They stole my children." "What do you mean? Who stole your children?" "History stole my neon." You even know neon? Who exactly are you? You said that history stole your neon. Are you the designer from neon? But isn't David the designer for neon?" Luna was even more interested and continued to make him drink. "Come, drink more." The beggar guzzled another 2 more cans and continued, "I'm the designer for neon, the only designer." Luna raised her brows in doubt and replied, "You think I'd take your word for it? If you're the designer of neon, then I'm God." The beggar's expression darkened and he snapped, "Suit yourself." Luna took out her phone and tapped on an album containing pictures of her wearing neon outfits. Since you said you're the only designer in neon, let me test you. All these outfits in this album are from neon, so you should know well enough when they were released and what series they are from then. If you really are who you say you are, then this should be a piece of cake for you." The beggar took a glance at Luna's album, his soulless eyes suddenly brought back to life. He started mumbling, "Wonderful, looks great, they've found themselves a worthy owner." Luna nodded with satisfaction. Finally, he had something nice to say. The beggar seemed sobered and refreshed after seeing those pictures. He tapped on one of them with excitement, "You have this one too?" Chapter 485. This was from the first spring line from when Neon Studio just started out. I still remember, the theme was Endless Spring. The beggar went on to say that the main element for the theme was flowers and that the handmade flowers on the outfit were made to resemble a real one as close as possible, as if it would bloom from the dress anytime, hence befitting of the theme Endless Spring. "I'm a die-hard fan of neon," Luna told him proudly, and she started to believe that the beggar was the designer himself. The way he looked at the pictures was akin to a mother looking at her child with profound pride. There was no way he would look at them with such eyes if he was not the actual designer who had put in the effort to create those outfits. The beggar continued telling her the details of each and every outfit, including the inspiration behind each design. Sometime later, he started sobbing on the floor while holding Luna's phone, "My neon, my precious neon." Luna squatted beside him and gave him a pat on the back. "What happened? These are all your designs, but how did David become the designer?" He had kept this incident in his heart for a long time, not telling anyone what had happened, but he started to open up. "David, he was my partner, he was my classmate in university. We're really good friends and I always thought of him as a brother, the most trustworthy partner. We started the business together when we were still in university and we set up our own studio. I'm better at designing while management is his forte, so we delegated the roles and I did the designs while he handled marketing. I trusted him, so I never asked him about the studio. Who'd have known that in the end, he would steal my design drafts from my computer, take all the money and abandon me while he found a sponsor and set up a new brand himself?" Luna finally understood and she sought confirmation. "And that new brand is history?" "Yes. Haven't you thought of suing him?" How so? We don't put the designer's name on the clothes. The only person who knew that I was Neon's designer is him, while he himself is a professional designer. Plus, his design style is very similar to mine. He destroyed all the data on the computer, so there's no proof that those drafts were my work. The man despaired. Luna gave it some thought and then asked, how many drafts did he steal? The man clasped his hand to his chest as if he was in pain, and with red-rimmed eyes, he said, all of it. All of my drafts. Including the half-finished ones. Luna pointed at her temple with her finger and questioned, then, what about the ones here? What? The man was confused. The design drafts in your mind, did he take them away too? The man was surprised, then he replied with a bitter laugh, are you suggesting that I make a comeback? Impossible, ever since he betrayed me, and I saw my Neon become history, my mind, I lost my inspiration, I can't be a designer anymore, I just know it, I'm done for. But you still have your passion, don't you? Dare you say that you have zero interest in design now? Don't you feel anything when you see those cleverly designed clothes? Don't try to deny it, you wouldn't have nitpicked on the outfit on me if you have no interest whatsoever. Definitely not to the point where you couldn't even tolerate a single flaw on it. Luna replied him convincingly. Chapter 486. The man shook his head and declared, passion is useless. Being passionate only brings me suffering now. You're right, passion alone is useless. Realistically speaking, you need something else that's important, money. Are you kidding me? Do I look like I have any money on me now? Luna blinked her eyes and patted her chest, not you. I do. You. The man looked at her doubtfully. Luna slung an arm around him to support the man up and patted his shoulder, rise up, young man. Your life is just about to start. And your fate will change, starting this very second. The man looked at Luna like an idiot and he flopped back onto the ground. Luna put her hands on her hips and glared at him. What? You don't believe me? Fine, I'm telling you now, I really like your work and you know that I'm not lying, seeing how I have bought most of your designs. So here I am officially extending you an invitation to collaborate. Are you interested? The man was surprised and peered at her with bewildered eyes. Collaborate? With a beggar? Luna smiled and responded, yes, just take it as I have too much money and nothing to spend it on. What do you think? You've got such a silly person standing right in front of you and offering you money now. Are you going to take advantage of her? The man was dumbfounded. She sounded like she was joking, but her twinkling eyes said otherwise. The woman was serious. Why? I already told you, I'm your fan. It was a coincidence as well. I earned some money recently and felt like investing in a business and I met you here. But I have to tell you that I don't have much, it's just $3 million. I'll invest them all in you. $3 million. The man mumbled, how is that not much? We only had $50,000 in cash when we started the studio. That's fantastic if you don't think it's too little. Most importantly, you need to stand up on your own and be confident in yourself. I am an actress and I will still focus on my main career. I'm not a professional in fashion design, so you'll be the heart and soul of our studio. The studio venue, hiring, future development, they'll all be up to you. Luna explained to him. The man got up to his feet when he heard Luna's grand plan and said, although I've been spending most of my time designing, I still know some things about running a studio. It might be difficult at first, but, if there's another chance, I can do it. Luna nodded in satisfaction. I'll mark your words. Are you serious? You're investing so much money in a person just because you've spoken to me for the past few minutes and shared some beers with me? The man was still in disbelief. He thought that he was dreaming or was hallucinating from the effects of the alcohol. Luna raised her brows and told him, you get to spend the money you earn, and you'll earn more after you finish them, no big deal. I like to take risky challenges. Luna was very straightforward. After their conversation, she dragged him with her and bought an outfit for him, got his hair trimmed, and brought him back to the hotel for a shower. "Are you done showering yet? Remember to change into the clothes I bought you. I've thrown away what you were wearing before. And oh, right, remember to shave." Luna waited impatiently until the man finally walked out. Luna was busy playing her mobile game when she heard some careful footsteps. She looked up and was surprised. Chapter 487. The game character from her phone shouted loudly, "Game over." The young man standing nervously in front of her wore a white blouse with light blue jeans and white sports shoes. His hair had been cropped short, revealing a clean forehead, fair skin, and a shy smile. He had told her that it was more than a year since he had graduated from university, but he still looked quite young. With what he wore, he looked as fresh as a student who had yet to leave the school gates. Luna stared at him for a long time, then suddenly stood up and circled the young man several times. Her face was full of utter disbelief. "Wow, who knew? I thought you were a wretched uncle. Who knew that you were actually a pretty boy? Our studio won't need to hire a spokesperson in the future. You'll do." She had randomly picked up someone from the streets, who turned out to be a handsome-looking young man. What luck! The young man felt embarrassed and his face reddened further as he inquired, "Boss, I still don't know what your name is." When she heard him address her as boss, Luna could not help but laugh. "There's no need to call me boss. That's too formal. We're equal partners in this business. I'm Luna, you can just call me Luna. My name is Angelo, boss, I still want to call you boss. You will never know how much our fateful meeting means to me. If not for you, I would just be a walking corpse." Fine, as you wish then." Luna never minded such petty things, so she let him be. But this was the first time someone had ever called her boss, and it gave him a thrill of satisfaction. After all, this was a symbolic moment for her to take the first step towards her goal of reaching the peak of her life. "Right, as for your studio, do you plan to open it in China or elsewhere?" Luna asked. "Let's do China, we've only just started and we're not suitable for a foreign market as of now," Angelo answered. Luna nodded. "Okay, return to China with me tomorrow then." Angelo agreed, "Okay." Then he paused before asking, "Boss, what should our studio's name be?" Luna scratched her head and replied, "I'm useless at naming, do you have any good ideas?" "Boss, I think it's best that you name it. I hope that you can come up with the name." "I'm fine with anything," said Angelo sincerely. Luna blinked. Why did she feel like she had just adopted a loyal dog? "You want me to come up with the name? Let me give it some thought." Because of Angelo's insisting, Luna paced the room back and forth and thought hard. How about spirit? Inspired by Liu Yushi's quote from My Humble Home, "Mountains are measured not by their height, but by celestial beings. Waters not by their depth, as its spirituality is with the dragons." This means that regardless of how tall a mountain is, it will be famous with celestial beings, and that it's not about how deep the waters are, but the dragons will reveal its spirituality. "You're the real dragon I've invited, the treasure of our townhouse, so we can definitely defeat that little snake." When Angelo heard Luna's words, his eyes instantly watered. "Boss, thank you. Thank you for this meaningful name." Luna was nervous to see him cry and she quickly gave him a tissue. "Hey, master, please don't cry, okay? What I can't stand the most is seeing people cry. Especially this dude in front of her who was as pretty as a young girl." Angelo then turned serious and said, "Boss, I won't let you down. Even if I had to squeeze myself dry, I would definitely make our brand, spirit, happen." Luna coughed lightly. "Cough, cough, no need to squeeze yourself dry. We have to walk down a path which will continue expanding." "Yes, boss." "Good boy." Just as they finished chatting, Luna's phone rang. It was her boss, Theo. "Hello, big boss." Did the advertisement shoot go smoothly?" the gentle voice of a man asked from the other end of the line. "Don't worry, everything went well. I'll be catching a flight home tomorrow afternoon." "Tomorrow afternoon, by the time you reach, it will be midnight already." You're alone and Stacy is not around. I'll pick you up at the airport tomorrow. There's no need for that, I'll just get a car. Besides, I've got to run to a meeting now. You be careful on the road. See you tomorrow night. Luna wanted to tell him she was not alone and he had no need to worry, but Theo had already hung up, so she could only let it be. Chapter 488. On the second day, Luna took Angelo on the flight home. On the flight, Angelo stared out of the window. I thought that I'd never be able to go home again in this lifetime. Luna leaned her head onto her hand and shook her leg. Now we're flying right back. Even if that guy has stolen many of your design drafts, he will still use them up one day, and what we have is an endless treasure chest in that mind of yours. Angelo's initially gloominess was easily perked up just by looking at the girl who was in high spirits beside him, and he nodded. After that incident, he had hated the entire world, hated the unfairness that life doled out to him, and even hated himself. With such negative emotions roiling about in his heart, don't even talk about continuing to design, his entire being turned useless. He would never have thought that on such an ordinary afternoon, he would meet someone as miraculous as her. His coincidentally meeting her suddenly had relieved him of all hardships and unfairness. His brain, which had become dormant for far too long, suddenly became active again. Angelo quickly took out his notebook and started to sketch speedily, recording his inspiration. Luna was shocked and said, you already have inspiration so soon? I suddenly thought of a theme. Angelo said enthusiastically. As she watched the eyes of the boy beside her shine and look entirely different from before, Luna was stunned, then she laughed and asked, what's the theme? On the plane, Luna and Angelo discussed design inspirations and the operations of the studio. They roughly decided on the blueprint for the days to come. When the plane reached China, it was already late at night. The Imperial had recently been rainy and the temperature at night was really low. As soon as Luna walked out of the airport, the freezing cold wind that greeted her made her sneeze. Angelo, who noticed this, quickly took off his coat and put it on Luna's shoulders. Boss, careful not to fall sick. Thank you. Luna said gratefully. Boss, should we get a car? We shouldn't wait for a taxi out here at this hour. No need for that, someone's coming over to pick us up. Hold on, let me make a call. Luna said as she took out her phone from her purse. She wasn't sure whether the big boss had arrived or not. Not too far away, a black Maybach car was slowly driving over. Alex, who was at the wheel, felt his hands shake non-stop. Was this a joke? He was initially happy to accompany the boss to welcome the lady boss at the airport, but why was there a strange man beside the lady boss? Wasn't this a deadly move she was making? He carefully looked at the back seat through the rearview mirror, and after a swift glance, he quickly looked to the front again. His boss had the fiercest look on his face. Gosh, scary. However, you couldn't blame the boss for being so angry. The boss had started to anticipate the day of the lady boss's return since 3 days ago and had even reminded him in advance of the time the lady boss would land. He was afraid that the lady boss was not used to eating in-flight meals, so he had supper prepared. Then, he was afraid that the weather would be too cold, so he had a blanket prepared in the car for her. He had been truly thoughtful right down to the core. For the past few days, every call from the boss would definitely be a reminder about the lady boss's arrival. It had only been a few days since they last saw each other, and with such nervousness from him, you would think they had not seen each other for years. Even Alex, who had a girlfriend, felt like he wasn't being a good partner. But now... Alex's eyes widened in shock when he saw the man beside the lady boss taking his coat off to put on the shoulders of the lady boss. He almost spat blood. He started to seriously consider whether he should ditch the car and escape before things went awry. Chapter 489. Boss, do you want to continue moving forward? Alex asked carefully. The seething look that turned on him instead was a clear indication that he had better not. Theo's ice-cold eyes shot daggers at him. Alex immediately shut up and stopped asking stupid questions, just continuing to drive. Angelo, later when my friend who's picking me up comes over, don't call me boss, just call me by my name," Luna reminded Angelo. She was in front of the big boss after all, and to be called boss by someone else would be a little shameless. "Okay, understood," Angelo obediently answered. Because Luna was busy looking for her phone in her bag, she did not notice that a black car had quietly rolled up beside her. The door opened with Alex alighting first. He walked quickly to open the door of the back seat and out came a pair of long legs. When the man got down from the car, the atmosphere around seemed to have dropped a few degrees colder. Angelo looked at the cool man opposite him and sensed danger. Out of his protective reflexes, he subconsciously pulled the unbothered Luna closer to him. However, this very action was followed by waves of tension emanating from the man in front and the air was frigid. Angelo felt a shudder travel through his body and even his palms started to sweat. This man, what was up with him? Luna finally found her phone and after turning it on, she looked for Theo's number and immediately called him. As she telephoned him, a familiar ringtone rang opposite of her. Luna was shocked and she looked up to see the stony Theo in front of her. Theo. Luna subconsciously mumbled, then rubbed her eyes, thinking that her vision might have failed her. At this moment, behind Theo, Alex nervously covered his face, prepared for an explosion. When she had confirmed that the person in front of her was really Theo, clear joy spread across the girl's face. She happily skipped over and greeted, "Big boss. It really is you. I thought I was mistaken. I was just calling you." Angelo did not think that Luna would ever be acquainted with someone who looked obviously dangerous and unfriendly from the first glance. He could not help but be slightly shocked. Shao Shi, you guys know each other?" Alex sharply noticed the man's words. It couldn't be this man's wife, could it? The lady boss had only gone overseas for a short period of time. Had she started secretly dating already? This was a nightmare. If Alex had caught on to it, obviously Theo would have realized it too and his expression instantly fell flat. While Theo and Alex had thought of something way beyond the truth, Luna was still oblivious as she enthusiastically pulled Angelo over to introduce him. "Angelo, this is my boss's boss's boss, Theo. The point is, he's my biggest big boss, my friend, and my mentor." Theo's expression did not change at all. In fact, it darkened further. Even though Luna had introduced him as someone of importance, obviously none of those labels were what he wanted to be known as. Angelo was in a dilemma when he heard this. His boss's boss, so how should he address him? "Nice to meet you, Mr. Goldberg," Angelo finally greeted courteously. Theo had to struggle to maintain his gentlemanly demeanor. He nodded slightly by way of greeting. Chapter 490. Angelo did not know if it was him overthinking things, but he felt like the man in front of him gave off a strong vibe of hatred towards him. In fact, from the moment he had appeared, he already felt increasing tension. Luna continued to introduce him to Theo. "Big boss, let me introduce, this is Angelo. He's my..." At this moment, Luna finally realized that Theo had a fierce look on his face, but she did not know what was wrong either. She hesitated slightly as she continued, "He's my friend whom I met in Los Angeles. He's a very talented fashion designer." What was going on? Not only was Theo looking unlike his usual self, but why did it seem like even Ching Feng was behaving oddly? Was it something wrong that she had said? Luna immediately changed the topic. "Big boss, you came to pick me up even though it's quite late already. Thank you for going through the trouble." "It's no trouble, it was on the way." On the way? How could the airport be on the way to anywhere?" Luna had no response to him when she noticed that Theo's gaze rested on her shoulders. What was up now? Theo reached out and naturally took the coat off her. Then, he took off his own coat and covered her shoulders again. "This one is thicker." "Oh, thank you." Luna nodded, stunned. Theo looked at her and managed to hold his annoyance in without any further questions. He opened the car door for her and said, "Get in the car, it's cold outside." Alex followed suit and opened the door to the shotgun seat. "Mr. Angelo, how about you sit here?" There are some things in the back seat, so there's probably no space for you. Okay. Angelo was naive and he did not think much about it, immediately taking shotgun. The car started to slowly move and there was an awkward silence. Theo started at the youth in the shotgun seat. He looked clean and handsome, probably close to Luna's age. When he saw the two of them standing together earlier, they looked like a good match, as much as he did not want to admit it. To confirm their relationship would only take a sentence, but no matter what, he could not bring himself to ask it. He was a nobody, what right did he have to ask about her private matters? As slow as Luna might be, she could still notice that Theo was not in a good mood that night, so she dared not to start talking again. Thus, the car was filled with an eerie silence, making everyone feel uncomfortable. At that moment, from a corner of the car, Ching Feng could only sigh internally, "Second master, come home soon, I cannot handle this on my own." Achoo! Probably due to the chilly wind earlier, Luna sneezed. Theo frowned, then finally broke the silence. "Ching Feng, please adjust the temperature slightly higher." After that, he brought a blanket over and passed it to Luna so she could cover her legs since she wore a dress. Then, he gave her the supper he had prepared much earlier. Luna was shocked by Theo's actions. Big boss, you came well prepared." "As a peasant, I'm taken aback by your affection." "Don't be shocked, you are a hard-working peasant and you did very well this time." Luna took the meal box, then secretly peeked at Theo's unconvincing poker face and asked, "Really? But, why do I feel like you're not terribly happy?" Since she saw him earlier, she had already felt that something was not right. Theo took a deep breath and tried to control his emotions, hating himself for being petty. "I'm not unhappy." "Liar, you're obviously not happy." Luna bit the end of her chopsticks and mumbled softly. Her eyes fell on Angelo, who sat shotgun. Angelo. She suddenly thought of a possibility which she had not thought of at all. Big boss, could he possibly be jealous?